Hello and welcome to But He's Catholic. I'm Tom.
And I'm Ellie.
And I've calmed down from our last episode and now I'm ready to talk about probably the one I'm feeling quite awkward about, actually.
I guess it's tricky for you as a man to then be like, no, women can't do this. And I think it's one that there's a lot of Catholicism that I struggle with, as I'm sure our listeners have understood by now. But I think for me, especially when the Church of England changed their laws, that was within my living memory. I can't remember what year it was.
Late 90s, wasn't it? When's Vicar of Dibley?
Oh, so it couldn't be my living memory. I'm not that old. I'm thinking of when they let women
90s?
become...
Oh, you're thinking of becoming bishops.
Maybe I'm thinking bishops. But I do remember very vividly just finding out as a child that women couldn't be priests and being completely baffled by it, and no one was ever able to explain to me a valid reason. And also it's like, well, Church of England priests, vicars, I guess, can be women.
Yeah.
So why does it make a difference if you're Catholic rather than Church of England? So I guess, do you want to start your spiel on why women can't be priests?
Yeah, and I think this is probably the most difficult one, because I think this is where I come to that feeling of just because I want something doesn't mean it's true.
Okay.
And I think my feelings and my wants can't ever align. Well, they can't always align with what the truth is.
Right, so it's a case of you personally don't really see that there is a problem, but the Catholic Church has decided it's not possible, so it's not possible.
No, I don't think it's possible.
Okay.
I think there's what the truth is, what I know the truth to be,
i.e. that
and what
women
my
can't.
personal feelings are. That I don't like the fact. I'm not that happy with the fact that women and men are treated differently in Catholicism.
Good.
On a personal level, I don't like it. I think, to an extent, it's unfair. But at the same time, that's the truth. Women can't be priests.
I guess a bit like, it's not the same, but a bit like how men can't have babies. Like, if you're a woman, exactly. you can, and okay, it's not fair because you're not equal, but also it just is fact.
It's just fact.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I think that's why I come to it, because, what's the saying? Like, the facts don't care about your feelings. My feelings are one thing. What I know to be the truth is very different. And I'm, again, 70s Catholicism that loves, I was bashing on about last week, that likes, there's too many people in the Catholic, outside and inside the church, that want to align the facts and the truth to the way they feel.
Yeah.
And that is
just not possible.
That's just fundamentally wrong way of thinking. It's just not possible. And I think too many people do that in all walks of life, and ways of thinking, trying to align how they feel and the facts.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Looking at anything that contradicts their feelings or their wants, they will try and manipulate the facts so it fits into their feelings.
Well, we won't go into it, but like gender ideology, I guess to an extent, you've got the debate of but scientific fact, and then you've got the people being like, oh, but my...
Yeah, we're not going to open that can of
worms. No, I know you're not going to want to open that can of worms. I can see your skin crawling.
But
as in my point being that there is a lot, not just in religion, but there's just a lot in social commentary of people being like, this is how I feel, this is what I would like, versus, but this is just fact.
Well, anything, politicians, politics, religion, people want to align their feelings to the facts, and the worst, they'll take the facts and they'll
try and manipulate it to suit
to suit their needs.
Anyway, you are just procrastinating because you don't want to come on to why is it that Catholic priests cannot be women?
Because the simple fact that is Jesus was a man, and as we talked about in the first episode, the job of the priest is to emulate Christ by acting in persona Christi, by acting in the person of Christ, and they are then required to emulate Christ and to act in persona Christi. Jesus being a man, they also have to be men. And I think that you're thinking, oh, well, why can't a woman act in persona Christi? Maybe. But I would see the fact that Jesus only chose disciples who are men. And as we said in our first episode about the Catholic priesthood being the fulfillment of the temple Jewish priesthood, they were all men. So I think there is this in the whole, like, however many thousands of years of Judeo-Christian history, the priesthood has always been men.
Okay.
And I think there is clearly a reason for that. And I think the church's understanding of to emulate Christ in the Mass, act in persona Christi, to give the graces of the faith to the faithful, it does require a man to act to emulate Christ in those.
I've got so many things to come back with.
Yeah.
So firstly, you say, oh, because it's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of things throughout history where we can see that women have been marginalised compared to men.
Strong.
No, I know, yes, you're going to have a really good retort to this, I'm sure, but let me finish my point. Okay. Like we said, men would always inherit first, become king first, even if they were the youngest child. Women couldn't vote until very recently. Like, there are so many things that men have been able to do that women haven't been able to do, but we have now recognised that that is blatantly wrong and have changed it. So why hasn't the Catholic Church changed their thinking?
Have you ever heard of the straw man?
The straw man argument?
Do you know what the straw man
Critical thinking from my A-levels, yes.
Tell me what the straw man argument is.
Oh, A-levels was a little while ago. You tell me exactly what the straw man argument is. I remember that there is such a thing as a straw man argument.
Is when you do exactly what you just did, where someone says something like, oh, I think we should return to traditional family values, and then someone goes, oh, well, it used to be tradition to have bear baiting. Should we bring bear baiting back? It's when you essentially someone says an argument and you'll pull different examples that vaguely kind of link, but actually are not related to the thing we're discussing.
Okay, fine.
So, yes.
I have other arguments, don't you worry.
I wouldn't say, yes, women couldn't do lots of things in the past, but are now rightly allowed to do them. And whether the divine priesthood should have women in it, I think there's separate arguments. I think we need to be arguing from the topic itself, not using straw man arguments.
Okay. Well, so you're saying about how Jesus picked his 12 disciples just to be men.
Mm-hmm. And then they only ever ordained men as well.
Okay, but biases?
And St. Paul.
So if I asked you to pick 12 of your friends to come to a party, you'd probably pick blokes because you're a bloke and most of your friends are therefore blokes. Whereas if you ask me to pick 12 friends to bring to a party, I'd pick probably girls because I'm a girl and so therefore my closest associates are girls.
Yeah, okay. I think I'd probably buy that argument in other situations, but I think Christ himself was establishing the church.
So it was a conscious choice.
I think he made a very conscious choice, and I think the apostles who were given the power after him were also very conscious that they were establishing Christ's church, and they are making very conscious decisions about how to establish the Church of Christ.
Okay.
And I think the fact Christ never chose a woman, the fact they never choose women says a lot.
Okay.
Says that there was obviously, because there's lots of women.
I was going to come on to the whole...
There's lots of women, as we were talking about when we had the story of the resurrection, the fact the women were the ones to bear witness to Jesus' resurrection first. Yeah. But then they never go, oh yeah, Mary, whatever Mary it is, you can be a priest as well. Why not? The risen Christ appears to women first, but he never picks them to be an apostle. He never picks them to be disciples. The apostles never go on to ordain these women. Mm. There's obviously a very conscious choice here.
Yeah. Okay. On that sort of similar thread, obviously we know that Jesus was in some way friends with Mary Magdalene, and he also had obviously his mother, the Virgin Mary. Why wasn't it that they were sort of also taken as like they can spread the message of Jesus and they can hold mass and they can do all those things that a priest does? They were
allowed to. Did play a part. Women did play a part in the early church. In the Acts of the Apostles, there's lots of women going out to do the work of Christ or preach or play a really important part in sending messages between churches and stuff, or representing the apostles on certain jobs. But doesn't mean they can be priests.
Right, okay, so it was like their jobs are other things.
Yeah, their jobs are other things. Their roles are other things.
Right. I still don't see how, and we've spoken in the past about how things have started off one way. So a bit like marriage we spoke about last week when we were saying like, oh, initially actually priests could be married. It wasn't a big deal. And then in the Middle Ages, they sort of changed the ruling. No. So why can't the Catholic Church go, okay, yeah, you know what, to initially, like, it was just men, but actually we think that women today, maybe women in those days weren't up to the challenge because they didn't have the same sort of societal structure. But now women are actually, we think, completely capable of it. We've seen that women can be bishops and vicars with much success, mostly. But they're up to the role, so why on earth could they not be priests?
Okay, we'll break that down. So, priestly celibacy, as we talked about last week, and women being priests are different. What's the word? Different ideas. Priestly celibacy is a discipline. There is nothing in theology, as we discussed last week, that says a priest can't be married.
Right.
But there is a theological problem with a woman being a priest.
And
one is doctrine, so that is eternal religious truth, and one is a discipline.
Okay.
Like, it's best to do it this way, but it also doesn't matter if it happens the other way.
Has it ever explicitly been said women can't be priests? Or are we judging it based on just behaviour?
We're judging it based on apostolic tradition.
Right.
So, is it in the Bible? Well, yes, the whole priesthood within the Bible is male. So we've got scriptural authority and tradition, apostolic tradition, which is really important. And then the teaching of the church, the magisterium, also says women can't be priests. So
have they ever given a reason though?
What the reasons I'm giving now?
No, but isn't like a reason that like a woman isn't up to it?
No, they're not saying women aren't up to it. It's that they can't act in persona Christi. They can't.
So it's more of a mysterious, magical thing.
Exactly. It's the supernatural is extremely important in Catholicism and other forms of Christianity. They can't have the supernatural power of Jesus Christ in the Mass.
So it's not so much being like, oh, women are weak or women are emotional or any of that.
No,
and that's why they can't be priests.
No.
It's they can't because part of being a priest is literally embodying Christ, and because he was male, only males could do it.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not because of any kind of like misogynistic thinking about whether a woman can do it or not, or be up to it. It's not about social thinking. It is theologically, supernaturally based on the idea that Christ and also God is always emulated as a father figure.
Yeah.
Christ, the Godhead, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and the Father is very much a male. Is seen for us as a male.
So why did the
God.
Church of England change it?
Oh, I mean, let's not waste our time talking about the Church of England.
No, but was that like, did they used to have that thought process?
Yes.
And then they just changed their mind? Is that just a social thing?
That's just because
they're just changing with the age.
They're just changing with the age.
Okay.
The Church of England is just the embodiment of the zeitgeist.
Okay. Well, I guess...
let's not waste our time talking about the Church of England.
Okay. Maybe our listeners can weigh in there if they have any kind of knowledge about that.
I mean, the Church of England doesn't even know what it believes. Officially it believes that yes, but then there's also strands within Anglicanism that says they can't.
Yeah, I know, and then a lot of Church of England people,
vicars are
changing to Catholicism.
Oh no, I'm going to say it now.
You are going to. You want to talk about it, okay?
We were talking earlier about people who take the truth and align it to the way they feel. I think the Church of England consistently shows itself to be of that way of thinking,
right? Yeah.
Of taking truth and applying it to the modern world and trying to fit it to the modern world and the way we feel and what we want, when actually they're ignoring the truth of the Gospels.
Right.
Much better to look at other churches, like our Orthodox brothers in the East. They have never allowed women priests. They're never going to allow women priests.
Can you get female rabbis?
In liberal Judaism, yeah.
Okay. I know we said rabbis aren't priests, they're teachers.
But yeah, in reformed liberal Judaism, you have female rabbis. In that program we watched.
Yes,
series.
Of course.
What's it? Nobody Wants This.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Netflix
Again,
drama.
Highly recommend.
That's a very good program as well. But anyway, in that show, there's a female rabbi. So in liberal reformed Judaism, you have female rabbis. But no, what I'd call apostolic churches, let's call them.
Yeah.
In none of the apostolic churches are there female priests, because I think everybody agrees that it is theologically impossible for a woman to act in persona Christi.
Okay. I think, it's one of those classic conclusions I come to in Catholicism where it's like, I understand the theory, the theology, I don't like it and I disagree, but also that's why I'm not Catholic.
Yeah.
But it brings me to an interesting point, and I've only just thought of it because of what you were saying about God being a man and the father. And in Derry Girls, you get the nun being like talking about God as she. But it just made me think, we haven't talked about nuns at all.
Yeah.
So I have always kind of thought of nuns as basically being, not exactly, but the female version of a priest. Is that, I mean, we don't want to ramble on. We can maybe do a whole episode about nuns.
Nuns, so they're dedicated life to prayer is their role, but they're not able to do any of the priestly stuff.
Right, so they're more like monks?
Yeah, they're like monks.
Right.
But monks would, in a monastic community, you have priests within.
The monk.
So that you'd be a monk, but also a priest at the same time.
So nuns, being a nun's a bit rubbish. So you don't get any of the powers. You just have to dedicate your life to
prayer. So in a convent community, a priest will come in to do all the priestly
such misogyny.
Stuff. It's not misogyny. It's because he can't act in the
I know.
So they would have a priest that will come in to do all the
right. So basically, nuns aren't like a female version of priest. They have very, very little.
They are
power.
Unordained monks.
Right.
So in a monastic, like we went to Fountains Abbey the other day.
We did.
The monastic community, so you had the mixture, the lay brothers who did all the work, the choir monks who did all the prayer, and then one or two of those choir monks will also be ordained priests who would do all the spiritual stuff. But actually in the monastic community, very few of them are actually ordained priests.
And the nuns are the same as
nuns
these
are the
non-ordained.
same as like these. Yeah, they're more like lay or choir brothers that are unordained.
Right. Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe we can have a whole episode on nuns, but it sounds like actually it's a bit of a boring life.
Boring life. Don't get dementia if you're.
Well, that was an amazing study I looked at when I was doing psychology.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not worth doing an episode on that, and I'm not going to bore you with it now. But I think, really interesting.
No, we could do all the benefits of a monastic life.
Okay, yeah.
The monastic life, we could do a whole.
Well, let us know in the comments if that's the kind of thing you actually want to hear about, or if you're sitting there going, "Please don't waste my time doing a whole episode." Not to listen to it. No, we want to keep our listeners engaged and giving them what they want. So we'll see. Maybe that will be in a year or two's time, because I think there's more important things to talk about before we got onto the benefits of a monastic life. So yeah, I guess I understand your points about why priests can't be women. Like I said, I see it, I don't like it. But no, I think you've made a good argument that it's not a misogynistic thing. It's not saying women aren't able to, they're not capable, they have some kind of like deficiency. It's just like so many things almost like to do with just biological sex, and theology states that a woman cannot embody Christ because Christ is a man, which I could kind of accept.
Yeah, and the priesthood has always been male.
Yeah.
And a reflection of the God of our...
The idea of, it's always been this way, I do struggle with, because I know you're saying straw man argument, but I do also think, the way it's always been is like a really rubbish argument.
Maybe, but I think also, going back to our very first episode, tradition is extremely important in Catholicism. Tradition is one of the 3 key ways we discern truth.
Yeah.
And so if something has always been done, that's probably because it's been sanctified by God as part of our faith. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, kind of another reason why not Catholic. So on that note, maybe it's time to end the episode. We always love to hear what you think. So please, you can tweet us at But He's Catholic on Twitter, or X, I should say. Or leave your comments. Give us a follow. Thank you for listening to our 3-part series now, all about the priesthood.
I think that's it. I think there's nothing else.
I think that's it for now. I'm sure we'll come up with some more things down the line, but I think we've probably done priesthood to death for now. So thank you for joining us and allowing us to take one episode into 3. This has been But He's Catholic.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.